Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading right here at 8 Central Time. And so notice this failed second entry. You got that first entry short, second entry short failure. Now I'm going to explain why I don't like it because there's a couple ways to view this. So at first, you could view it as a small picture failed second entry. Okay, you had this chop, so I'm not going to really count that tick lower right there because it was in this rangy thing. So I can draw that out there, as you can see. But we have this first entry short, second entry short failure. Now, the reason I don't like this as a failed second entry is because you already have two legs up before the failed second entry, which usually on a good failed second entry, you want to get a push up, a break, and then you enter on a failed second entry to make the second leg up. This already has two legs up. Now, there is a bigger structure here. You can tell that this is on a bigger picture, this is just one leg up. And so if you view this as like this, as a bigger structure, you have uptrend, break, and then the entry is on the first attempt higher, which of course you don't want to enter on the first attempt higher. So no matter how you look at it, for me, there's no valid entry right there. So anyway, we do have a second push up here, though. Now, I extended this trend to this. We have uptrend, break, and we push up to a new high. Unfortunately, this is just a first entry. It's a first entry long, uptrend, break, first attempt higher. So it's another first entry. You don't want to enter on that. You want to enter on the second attempt higher. So unfortunately, there's nothing there. Now, there is one thing to consider. We do have a wider uptrend here. So I ended up not wanting to go short right here because we had this other uptrend in play right here. As you can see, now I'm not saying this other one isn't valid. It clearly did react, like uptrend, break, new high. Now, considering we're in this larger one, there's a higher chance of this smaller one getting a second leg, trying to make a new high for it. So I ended up just not wanting to take any shorts here. And then this first entry long right here. Of course, you can't take this. You can't take a first entry, especially right after coming off of an overnight high. This is a major level, because the overnight highs, this is range rules right here. You got to play the range rules. Just, the range rules are when you come off one side, price is expected to reach the other side. And if you're coming off the highs, you need to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue long again. Same thing with like a channel. If you have an up channel and you bounce off the high of the up channel, you still need to see two attempts to the other side before you can continue with that up channel. You see what I mean here? So you don't want to enter on a first entry after, a first entry coming off the overnight high. And so anyway, we push up. It of course gets trapped. You get a second leg down right here. Now this right here, you can see uptrend, break. This is the first attempt at a new high. Even though you have those two legs back, this is still entering on the first attempt at a new high. Not to mention these legs right here are small. This could very easily end up being one leg, and which of course, as you can see, it is measured down to here, which I was concerned about this second leg occurring sooner, and so I did not want to enter long right there. I was afraid it could trap and make that second leg down, which when you're entering on that first attempt higher, it easily could do that. You want to enter on the second attempt at a new high, which by the time you get this right here, the second attempt at a new high, notice uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. It's closing way too high up. There's no room. Absolutely no way. And so here, I like this trade right here. Notice we have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. So it's a failure entry, rushing below the EMA, clearly forming these range highs right here. So it's a triple test off this range right here. But another thing to consider is this overnight high. You have 1, 2, 3. This is a triple test off the overnight high. So there's a bunch of good things going for this trade right here. The uptrend is 2 attempts higher. You're off the overnight high with a triple test. You're off this range with a triple test. This is a really great looking entry right here. And, of course, this basically spikes our second leg down right there. It's clear that those two legs are connected. We have these lows right here. I did have to push it out of this range right here, which was unfortunate. I used a limit order. Otherwise, I would have had to push it out even more. And if I had used a stop order, I would have not even been filled. I would have been stopped later on. Although I wouldn't have dealt with all this. I would have ended up breaking out getting out at break even at some point within this chop. But so I had to use a limit order, but I still had to push it kind of far out, so I'm glad it managed to reach that far. What made me feel okay with this target was that these previous, bars had wicks going out to there, so I figured we could get some kind of spike out. It'll probably reach it, so that didn't bother me. Plus, it was within this measured move right here, so I felt totally confident in it, considering all these great things about this context area. The context area is just so good on this trade right here. And of course the setup as well, especially with that signal bar being so bearish. And so anyway, after we reach this measured move right here, we start pushing up. Now notice we get this higher low below the range, so of course you cannot enter on that. It's not holding onto anything. And then here we find clear resistance off the EMA. We're going into this uptrend here. Now we break that, and then notice this higher low right here. I like this. I didn't take it necessarily as just a little higher low. The way I was viewing it was, after with these two legs back, we have basically uptrend break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. This is a higher low after the second attempt higher here. So I'm viewing this whole swing right here, not just that bar, this whole area as a higher low. Notice we pushed up, we formed this higher low right here, and then it just took a few bars to close above the EMA. And so I like that right there. It's continuing that second attempt higher, which of course, you could have gotten a trend line and seen that it was clearly starting to hold on this trend line up there. And so, I really liked that area right there for long. And we push up and we reach the overnight high again. Of course, I barely had enough room there. But either way, we push on up. We reach this, which let me redraw this really quick. So now you can see these bigger legs up here. So this is extremely typical. You have a leg up, you have two measured legs back in this correction, and then you get a second leg up. Okay. And so on this way up here, we get this little tiny breakout pullback slash, attempt to fade back down. Of course, it's very insignificant. It's very small. It's not off the EMA. There's no way that you want to enter on anything there. We push up. We do not quite reach that measured move. We come very close. But then we get this first entry long, second entry long, which, you could argue that's one leg down right there. I didn't like this entry right here. Even though it is a second entry, it did close below the EMA. It was starting to get a bit sideways. So to be safe, I ended up just not taking it. Plus, it really does kind of look like one leg down on a big picture. Now, the reason I like this right here is, I think I might have talked about it earlier in this video, how when you come off one side of a channel, like say this up channel right here, when you come off one side, you want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue long. Now, take a look at this up channel right here. We are, you draw it off of those lows right there. You get that second bounce right there off the highs, right? You want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue long with it, which, of course, that's why I was talking about this second entry right here, and it kind of just looks like one leg down. At this point, we can see not only do we have two clear attempts down, we also can view this as downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. So we have that, it's like a perfect combination. Downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, while at the same time you have just straight up two legs down off the overnight high. Or sorry, excuse me, not the overnight high, off of this channel high. And so then it was holding off this low right here. It was barely closing below the EMA, and then we closed above the EMA on this bar right here. And so I like this. Unfortunately, I was not in the room while it happened. I had to leave for a bit, and this happened while I was away. But that does look extremely good. And so yeah, I just thought I would point that out. And we push on up, we break out of this range right here, we're off the highs again, we blast through that measured move. Notice how the measured moves really are important. Even when it blasts on through it, you still have this reaction right there, and this is clearly a result of this measured move right here. And then of course this more chop over here. So these measured move levels are important. A lot of times, they're basically a resistance level. You'll oftentimes see me draw a line out from them like this because they act as a resistance level. and if it bursts through that level, it'll often try to fade back down, but that's getting pretty advanced. So anyway, we reached the overnight high. Excuse me, I called it the overnight high again. We reached the channel high here, and then we have this one push down. I would want to see another push down. You know, if we could have gotten something like this, like say we correct back up to there, we get a second leg down, that would be great to get 2 legs down like this to the key entry point. That could offer a very great long. Unfortunately, we just had this one leg down, back up, so maybe, you know, from here we can get something like this, you know, 2 legs down to the key entry point. That would be great. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope it helped out in some way. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.